everyone, welcome to this yoga session. I am Francesca and I'm going to guide you through the next 30 minutes of Hatha Yoga practice based on upper body release and self-care. For this session, I will invite you to have on hand at least one yoga block, otherwise a big book is going to be enough as well, and a yoga blanket. We are going to start our practice sitting, and I invite you to, if you're using your mat in front of you, I will invite you to sit towards the back of your mat, like this. And let's find our comfortable sitting position. Make sure you find your sitting bones, make sure your spine is nice and tall and released. Open up your shoulders, maybe make a bit of movement to get yourself comfortable into that position. And when you feel ready, hands on your knees and close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in and out. In again and out. And inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Whilst you're breathing, maybe scan your body, see how it's feeling, if there's any tension somewhere, and also get aware of how are your feelings today. So just make sure you get connected with yourself through the breath. Keep breathing. It is also a nice moment to set your intentions. So whatever it might be, self-care, gratitude, anything that might come and might be a need for today, maybe notice it right now and just take it for your class. And to the last exhale, gently butterfly open your eyes. Here we are. And start breathing in and turning your head towards the left side. And when you breathe out, come back to the center. And on the right, in and out, back in the center. Keep going. In and out. In and out. And wherever you are, maybe start noticing the environment. Last time, in and out. In and out. Continuing this way, we're going to incline the head on the left hand side. In. We're going to breathe out, bringing the chin on the chest. We're going to breathe in on the right side and out all the way up. Again. On the right, in. Chin on the chest, out. On the right, in. And out. On the other side, let's start on the right, in. And out. In. Out, up. And last time, in. And out. In. And out, up. Let's bring the shoulders up, in when we breathe in, and when we breathe out, we lower them down. Breathe in. And we actually want to increase the movement, making some sort of small circles. So we're going to breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. You can follow your own rhythm as well. And out. In. And actively push your shoulders down. So you want to push them even lower than they would be normally when you breathe out. And last one. And out. Now we're going to recline the head towards the right side. We're going to press with the left hand towards the floor. So imagine there's an imaginary wall that you really want to push down, and at the same time the head is going towards the opposite side. If you want to increase, like a further challenge, you can also grab your head and gently push it down, but it's not compulsory. This is absolutely enough. And keep breathing. And come back. Let's go to the other side. Head and arm. Pushing the imaginary wall. Push hard. And breathe. Again, another development could be to hold the head or to even just gently weight it a little bit. And come back. Now we're going to breathe in, bring the arms up, and when we breathe out, we're going to imagine to open the elbow as much as possible and bring them down. So we're going to breathe in and elbows down. Next time, we're going to hug our shoulder blades, breathe in, and when we breathe out, we're going to make a nice curve forward, out. And again, all the way, arms up. Now elbows down, open up the shoulders, open up the chest. And breathe in. And curve. And one more time. In. Shoulders down, elbows down, open up. Hug yourself. Make sure that you're exchanging the elbows. So when the left is up, next time you're going to bring the right up. And breathe in. Last time. And out. Breathe in. And out. And let's release. We're going to bring our left hand up and we're walking a little bit with the right, bringing the elbow down on the floor, and in the meanwhile the left hand is drawing a nice circle all the way up in the sky. And let's get on our side bend. In this position, we really want to make sure that the hip, in this case the left hip, is getting on the floor. It really wants to stay on the floor as much as possible. And in the meanwhile, the left hand is pulling me all the way out. This is a very nice opener for the side of the body and is also very good for the circulation as well. But don't forget to breathe. Keep breathing. And come up. Let's go on the other side. Right hand up, left hand find floor, and let's draw a circle. Again, check on your hips, make sure that both the sitting bones are on the floor. And create a nice resistance with the upper hand. It's really pulling you all the way out. Also, maybe make sure you're turning a little bit on the outside in order not to close towards yourself. So really feel that openness, imagine like if you wanted to look up in the sky. The gaze can be forward or you can also be looking on the floor. But I would recommend look forward, it's nicer. And come back up. Now we're going to cross the right leg. So the right foot is going in front of the thigh, of the opposite side. Make sure that both sitting bones are on the floor. And then the first option, we can hug the knee and bring the other hand behind ourselves. Or we can also cross the elbow and get over there. If you really want to have a further development, you can also interlace your hands behind and underneath the thigh and keep looking up. For this time, I'm going to keep the first option. So hug your knee and grow nice and tall with your back. Really make sure that you're as tall as possible and spiral up. Keep breathing. And to the next exhale, let's come back forward and let's change side. So this time we're going to have left foot in front of the thigh, both sitting bones on the floor. And again, we can either hug or bring the elbow after the leg or interlace two hands. Again, I'm going to pick up the hugging one. Hand on the floor. The hand can be either on the floor or also another option, you can also have the hand on your thigh, on your opposite hip. Again, make sure that the back is nice and vertical. Imagine a spine that's really growing all the way up towards the ceiling. This will help to create a little bit more space between the vertebrae and then increase a little bit the spiral. Keep looking all the way back and growing. See if you can engage your gaze as well and look on the back corner. Keep breathing. And let's come back. Raise the pose. Now, we're going to walk forward and we're going to get in our Balasana pose, just to take a slight rest. But I'm going to offer to you today a variation of it. So instead of the hand on the floor, we're going to lift the wrists up and we're going to just stay on our fingers. So make sure you bring your front on your mat. Keep pushing a little bit yourself so that you're seriously sitting with your sitting bones on the heels. Lower the shoulders, allow the head to drop and stay. Enjoy the pose. This pose is great for, together with the fact that it's helping for the back to release any tension, is also great for the forward part. So shoulders and the arms is nice, good pose to release the tensions. And hands back together on the mat. Press your weight forward. We're going to find ourselves in all four and we're going to lift arm and we're going to bring it in between the underarms. So from here, it's going to go just underneath our armpit and we're going to bring on the floor the shoulder and the ear. And gently come back. And we're going to go on the other side. So hand up, nice and big twist of the back, and gently come back down. Shoulder and ear on the floor. This is also a very good pose to release the tension on the upper shoulder and the lower neck. So if you had a very long day, maybe sitting on your chair, that's a very good one to engage with. And let's press back up. Let's tuck the toes behind ourselves and press the hips up. Gently get on our first downward facing dog. So make sure that you release hips and the back. Make sure you walk a little bit, your dog. Also check on your elbows. See if you can slightly soften them a little bit. This will ensure that you're not hyperextending them and that you're engaging in a safer position. Make sure that the head is nice and low so that the neck is working effortlessly. And when you're ready, just bring your heels down and stay there. Breathe. Every time you breathe out, see if you can push your hips a little bit more backwards. This will help for the heels. It will be super useful to increase a little bit the level of flexibility. And let's lift the heels, engage with the core, gently round the back, bring the hips towards the floor, but actually stay there. We're getting in a plank pose. Now, we have two options. The first one is to bring the knees down, point the feet, and accompany the back all the way down. The second one, from the plank, we're just going to go down for a further workout. And point the feet, lower the shoulders, make sure that you have your hands just underneath the shoulders, and drawing a circle with your gaze, engage with a small cobra position, baby bhujangasana. Make sure your triceps are active. This is a very good pose for working your arms, opening your shoulders and reinforcing the upper back and also the triceps. And gently come back down, tuck the toes and lift the hips up in a downward facing dog. And breathe. Release the head, release the shoulders, and again, heels up, round your back, plank position. Again, either knees on the floor first or from the plank, directly come back down. And this time, we're going to go on a full bhujangasana, but imagining that someone is making a resistance on us. So imagine that it's a really hard work to go all the way up. Engage with your muscles, engage with your triceps, engage with your back. You're seriously working hard. Imagine that the air is honey or something more dense. Really press and press down the shoulders. Press up your upper back and lower the shoulders. Come back down. It's intense, this one, isn't it? I know. And touch your toes, lift your hips all the way back up in a downward dog. Breathe. And last one. Bring your heels up again. Roll your back forward. Find yourself in a nice plank position. Lower your body down. Up. And this time, we're going to go on a full bhujangasana all the way up. This time you can see how much easier it is and how much bigger can be the pose. Lower the shoulders. Make sure that you're bringing a nice long neck. And come back down. Touch your toes and get all the way back up on your downward facing dog. Now, look between your arms and bring one foot between your hands. Either one or the other, it doesn't make any difference. Open up in Warrior Two. For this pose, what's really important is that your front foot is really nice and forward. The knee wants to stay in front of the second finger. And you're drawing a nice 90 degrees with the floor and your lower leg. The shoulders and arms are nice and open, making a good resistance. And the other foot is just in front of you. Make sure, maybe play and bring the hands a little bit on your hips. See if they're actually in front of you or if they're a little bit turned. The idea is to have them exactly in front of you and the shoulders are staying exactly on top of the hips. The head is looking forward and the gaze is just above the middle finger. And breathe. Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana. It's a great pose for grounding and focusing. It's a nice and fierce pose, so really get your core engaged, open up your arms. Make sure that you're nice and huge and at the same time grounded. From here, we're going to lift the front arm. It's drawing a circle and we're going to bend up towards the back in a peaceful warrior pose. You can look up or down, however you prefer, and the arm can be either along the leg or it can be on the thigh. Just make sure it's not on the knee. And keep breathing. Keep grounding with your hips and continue to open up the side. And let's come back. Extend the leg. Keep exactly the same pose, and now we're engaging in Trikonasana. We're going on the other side. So for this pose, you have two options. You can either go on the leg or directly on the floor, but if it's more helpful, this is the right moment to get a nice yoga block. You can keep it either here or there, according to wherever works better for you. In this case, I'm actually at this height, so you can keep it there and open up. That's very useful to allow the body to actually stay as open as possible. So what I'm feeling here now is that this shoulder is gently a little bit more opened, and I'm feeling also that the upper arm is kind of pulling me all the way up in the sky. And come back up. Again, warrior two. This time we're transitioning, Anjali Mudra hands, and we're going to go all the way up. Just take a moment to breathe. Just take a moment to notice how are your feet feeling. Maybe adjust your clothes if you need to. So from here, we're going to go on the left hand side, and for that, doing this, we're going to bend forward, lean a little bit forward, and we're going to bring the other foot as far as possible. Come back forward, and here we are. Make sure you're adjusting your foot, you're adjusting both legs, open up your arms. Look just above the middle finger, engage with your core, and make sure the shoulder blades are nice and long, like if someone is pulling the two arms in two opposite directions. Keep breathing. Enjoy that moment of groundness. And to the next exhale, we're going to bend backward. Again, make sure that the forward hip is grounding on the floor as much as possible, and the arm on top is really pulling me. Lower the shoulders, check on both shoulders, and coming back. And again, Trikonasana. This time, we can also engage in this pose, so we can interlace the two first fingers in the big thumb. And extend the leg, turn all the way up. I'm feeling someone like pulling me all the way up, and the shoulders are nice and open. Both arms are going one on the opposite directions of the other. And that's a great pose to really increase the flexibility of the back side of the front leg, and is a very great hip opener as well. And come all the way forward, and Anjali Mudra. Let's turn the back leg and gently bring the weight all the way forward and up. Just take a moment to notice what this pose did to your body. Allow a moment of checking on yourself, on your energy level. And from here, we're going to stay on top of the mat, or we're going to open a little bit the legs and lower and crouch all the way forward. If it's not a comfortable position, you can always keep a blanket just underneath your heels, like that, or even bent like that. And you can also keep it just underneath as some extra support. This is very great for the hips, to increase the flexibility of the hips, but also for the lower, but also to release the lower back. So I would definitely recommend to practice this pose and to get used for the body to be there. So make sure that the shoulders are nice and low and the neck has enough space to move, but we're actually staying there. And from here, taking off the blanket in case, lowering down, extend the legs. Find a nice comfortable position here and bring your arms all the way up. Now we're going to fold forward, Paschimottanasana. That's a forward fold or forward bend. And the idea that here we're going as much as possible high up, keep the back as long as possible, and wherever is not possible for you anymore, then that's the moment to release and surrender to the gravity in order to soften the back, the upper back, and allow the gravity itself to work a little bit forward. Now, it doesn't really matter where we arrive. So what's really important is whether we arrive here or we arrive forward all the way down. What's really important is that we are getting towards the maximum extension and then we're dropping ourselves forward. And gently roll your back all the way up, coming back to vertical back. For the next pose, we're going to go on the bridge pose. So in general, I would definitely say that it's okay to use just the mat, but if you're experiencing a little bit of stiffness on the shoulders, I would recommend to use the blanket, just bring it on the floor, and you can use it, you can lay on it just with the shoulders. This pose is not okay, however, for people suffering of neck or shoulders injuries, and it might also be a little bit annoying in case of pregnancy. So for those cases, I would recommend just to lay on the floor and just lift your legs up. For anybody else, we're going to go on the floor, shoulders on top of the blanket, head being just on the mat, so that the neck has nice enough freedom. We're going to bring the feet close together, as close as possible to the hips, and we're going to try and squeeze the knees, imagining that there's something in between, like a yoga block that we want to squeeze. We're going to inhale, and when we exhale, we're going to start lifting the hips up, vertebra by vertebra. We're lifting all the hips up. Hands can have the palms just facing the floor, or we can interlace the fingers and bring them down on the mat. Keep focusing on the knees, keep squeezing the legs, and keep pushing the hips up. This is in this version is a very great exercise for glutes, for the back of the legs, and for the upper legs muscles, but it's also a nice shoulders opening and chest opener. And we're going to release the fingers and gently, vertebra by vertebra, bring the hips back down. From here, we can use our hands to help press ourselves up, and we can lift the hips, extend the legs, and find ourselves in Savangasana. Again, this is not suggested for back or shoulders or neck injuries, but it's also a nice inversion, so it's very helpful. Make sure that the elbows are close and bring your hips as high as you can. Also make sure you're looking forward, or anyway your head it's nice and straight. Keep breathing. And from here, gently soften the knees. And accompanying the back, you can start rolling it down. And just bring it back down on the mat. Maybe you can roll on one side and remove the blanket that's underneath you if you are using one. And we can start getting ready for our final pose, Shavasana. So just check on your body. Make sure that the shoulders are nice and distant from the ears. Neck is long and free. Palms of the hands are facing up the ceiling. And the feet are falling happily on the side of your body. And just breathe. Connect with your body. Connect with your breath. And when you feel ready, close your eyes. Allow the head to drop heavily into the mat. Allow the heels to drop heavily. And everything that's in between. Everything is melting into your mat. And your mat is there to support you. So enjoy that moment of total relaxation and support. And slowly get back into your feelings and your physical sensations. Start wiggling your toes and your fingers. Start activating your hands and your feet. Maybe circle the wrists and the ankles. And when you feel ready, turn on the right hand side and gently press yourself up, letting the head follow the body and find your nice and seated position. Join the palms of your hands together and thank you for being part of this class. See you next time.